Hello guys, let's welcome to our channel Just Genius. In the last video we have discussed about the best case and worst case and average case. As the last video becomes too complex, means it will become too length, so that I make in separate video for this time complexity. So in this video we are going to discuss about the time complexity. Okay, so before going to discuss the time complexity, I have uploaded each and every material of the data structures in the description box. You can access the drive link from the description box. You also what I am going to explain now, this PDF also I will share in this description box. You can access that PDF also. Okay, let us start our video now. So before going to explain this standard analysis techniques for the time complexity, majorly we will discuss these 5: constant time statements, analyzing loops, analyzing nested loops, analyzing sequence of the statements, analyzing condition statements. So we will discuss majorly these 5 and solve many problems, many example problems related to this. Okay, then you will be knowing that the concept will be clearly understanding for you. Okay, so let us start our video by constant time statements. In this video majorly we are going to discuss, concentrate on these two topics: constant time statements and analyzing loops. Okay, so let us start. So first is constant time statements. Okay, it is visible, I hope that. So constant type statements means the time taken is a constant, that is big O of 1. I told you big O of 1 is constant statements. Means if you observe this side, the assignment, arithmetic, array referring, array assignment, most conditional test. Means in the code when some statements will be given in assignment, means int x equal to, you can initialize some value to the x, initialize some value int x equal to 2. These statements are nothing but assignment statements. When you initialize some value to the x or some value to any variable, that statements are nothing but assignment statements. For those statements the time taken complexity will be big O of 1. It is a constant time complexity. For also according to this one, arithmetic statements also means when you add those statements, when you subtract, when you add, the time any operation can you perform, multiplication or division, when you perform, the time taken for this also big O of 1. That is nothing but arithmetic operations. Array referring is nothing but when you take character functions, means you can see here array referring, how array is going to refer. Character function means it stores single variable or alphabet. Okay, array assignment also means you are going to assign some value to at position j to the array. Okay, you are going to assign 5 at position j is you don't know, you can assign. Array referring, most conditional test means when you perform some conditional test, if x greater than y, some boolean statements will be printed, so for those statements also constant time statements will be taken. But big O of n, answer is they will take big O of 1. So for these statements the time complexity is nothing but big O of 1. Just remember this one. So no need to solve more examples on these constant time statements. When you look into this code, you observe these statements are belonging to constant time statements, so the time complexity is big O of 1. You can observe by looking into the code. Okay, so let us start another topic, that is analyzing loops. So it is very complicated, analyzing loops, just understand it. Okay, so analyzing loops, in the analyzing loops you majorly will discuss about two parts. If you know about these two parts, you can analyze the loop easily. So first, how many iterations are performed, can be discussed in the loop, itself. How many steps performed per iteration, means can be discussed the statements inside the loop, means these one. Okay, understanding. So according to from these two statements we can analyze these loops. Okay, so we can analyze this loop. For example, we can analyze this loop. Okay, see how to analyze this loop. So this loop will run n times, the statements will run n minus 1 times. By looking into this statement, you can know that this statement is a constant time statement, so it is run one time, means that is big O of 1, but in the code itself it runs only one time, so it is 1. So how did you say it runs n times and it runs n minus 1 times? So it given that j less than n, so the loop will run j less than n times. Understand these statements very carefully. Okay, so this will run n times, so you know that the loop will run j less than n. Okay, another time after this, suppose if I take value of j 5 and value of n, so if I take the value of sorry, okay, it's okay, value of n as 6. Okay, 5 less than 6. Okay, it's run. Next j value will be incremented, so if I take j, so j value means 6 less than 6. So for this statement, so until here the loop will run. Okay, you are understanding? Until here the loop will not run. The loop will check whether the condition is 6 less than 6 or not, so it runs n times. Understand? How did I get this one? So actually you may be knowing that the loop will run n minus 1 time, but another extra step it will take to check whether the statement is less than or greater than this statement. So it is less than 6 or not, like that. So it will run n times. The statements inside the loop will run n minus 1 times. Understand? How did I get this one? Understand? Just remember, first how much time the loop will run, next how many times the statements inside the loop will run. Okay, identify these two statements and easily analyze these loops. Okay, let us solve this now. So let us solve this now. So briefly listen this concept very carefully. It is very important. So this one will run one time, this one will run n time, this one will run n minus one time. So I told why did this one will run n minus one time and why this one run n times. The loop will further check one more condition whether it is true or false. If it false, loop terminates. If it true, the loop will run. Okay. So we can solve from this one. Time complexity Tc equals to 1 plus n minus 1. According to this, 2 are cancelled. Okay. 2 are cancelled. Now n plus n, it will become 2n. Time complexity equal to big O of n. Why big O of n? You have to drop constant terms, you have to drop coefficient terms and lower order terms. So drop 2 and get it n. So I told in big O notation because always the time is taken in the worst case scenario. You have to calculate an upper bound. So you have to follow how we have calculated time in big O notation. Okay, follow that statement very carefully. So this is how we solve this problem. So next example is, so analyze these loops. Okay, you can analyze. So same example, same as it is previous example also. Before, in the place of n, here it is given 100. So if you substitute n equal to 100, you will get answer. So we got big O of n in the answer. So if you substitute in the place of n 100, so this is the answer completed. This is the answer. Okay, let us look into more examples. So this is an example of time complexity. I have taken from many websites these examples. You can follow these examples. Okay. So first, if you see, look into this statement. So the statement is nothing but I less than or equal to. It is given I less than or equal to. Before that, in previous example, it is given I j less than n, only less than n. Previous statement, it is given j only less than n. Then loop will run n times. Here I less than or equal to n means loop will run n plus 1 times. So it is shown loop will run n plus 1 times. Okay. The statements which are inside the loop will run n times. Understand why the statements inside the loop will run n times? Because the loop will further check one more time whether the condition is true or false. So it becomes plus 1. Before the condition false, one more time the loop will check, will be cancelled, and the statements inside the loop will run only n time. Okay, understand these statements very carefully. Don't confuse in this statement. One more time I am going to explain. I less than or equal to n means loop will run n plus 1 time, because it checks one more condition, means it is given equal to. In the previous example, in our previous example, it is not given equal to, it directly given j less than n, only n times the loop will run. Okay, understand, less than or equal to less than, difference, the major difference you have to understand. Okay, I hope that you have understood this. So from this one we can solve Tc equal to, you have to write like this only. For each and every iterations, you have to show how much the loop will run will in the exam, n plus 1 and n. Okay, 2n plus 1. First drop the constant terms. 2 next 1 will be dropped, 2n will be there. In the 2n you drop the 2. Next you will get answer is Tc equal to big O of n. Okay.